Are you stuck in that frustrating intermediate English plateau? You've learned grammar, you know vocabulary, but natural conversations still feel like a struggle. What if I told you you could transform your entire world into a perpetual English learning machine, absorbing fluency effortlessly 24/7 without ever opening a textbook or leaving your home? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dan. This is English Perfectus. If you've been learning English for a while, you probably know the feeling of hitting a wall. You've worked your way through textbooks, completed exercises, memorized grammar rules, and yet somehow speaking fluently still feels just out of reach. Maybe you've noticed that conversations with native speakers are faster than you expect, that idioms and expressions fly by, and you can understand a lot in theory, but struggle to express yourself naturally. This is the intermediate plateau. And trust me, we've all been there when learning a new language. You're not alone. And the good news is there's a way to break free from it. Today, I want to introduce you to a completely different approach to mastering English, something I like to call the echo chamber method. But before we dive into that, let's talk about why traditional methods often fall short, especially when your goal is advanced fluency. Traditional language learning methods, textbooks, grammar drills, repetitive exercises have their place, but they tend to focus on the mechanics of the language rather than the flow of real communication. These methods teach you the rules, but they don't always teach you how to use those rules naturally in conversations. You can memorize verb conjugations, vocabulary lists, and idiomatic expressions. But when it comes to speaking spontaneously, your brain often freezes. You might find yourself translating word for word from your native language, overthinking grammar, or simply pausing because the exact word you want doesn't come to mind. This is why so many learners, even after years of studying, find themselves stuck at the intermediate level. It's frustrating, discouraging, and often leads to burnout. But what if I told you there's a way to learn English that feels less like studying and more like living the language? That's where the idea of the echo chamber comes in. So what is the English echo chamber? Imagine surrounding yourself with English in a way that feels natural, effortless, and immersive. You're not sitting down to memorize lists or to do repetitive exercises. Instead, English becomes part of your environment, part of your daily life, something you can absorb almost without even thinking about it. It's called an echo chamber because just like sounds echo in a room, English begins to resonate in your mind. The more you surround yourself with authentic content and real language use, the more your brain starts picking up patterns, vocabulary, and grammar automatically. You're almost creating your own personalized English world where practice happens constantly without the pressure of studying in the traditional sense. Now, how do you build your personal English echo chamber? It all starts with curating the right content. Many learners stop at Netflix or YouTube, which is a good start. But to really immerse yourself, you need variety. Think about podcasts, audiobooks, and content from different regions and accents. Listening to a British podcast, an American audiobook, or an Australian YouTube channel can expose you to subtle differences in pronunciation, slang, and sentence rhythm. The key is diversity and consistency. You don't need to understand every word at first. What matters is that your brain hears English used naturally, repeatedly, and in context. Over time, your subconscious starts absorbing patterns and meaning, which is exactly how native speakers learn their language. Integrating English into your daily routine is the next step. This doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. You can listen to an English podcast while cooking breakfast, play an audiobook during your commute, or have English radio quietly in the background while doing chores. Even small, repeated exposure matters. It's about turning English from a subject you study into an environment you live in. When English is everywhere around you, your brain begins to process it naturally. The key is consistency and making English a part of your lifestyle, not just your study schedule. Technology also makes building an echo chamber easier than ever. AI-driven apps can personalize listening experiences, suggest content based on your interests, and even create interactive environments where you can practice speaking and listening. For example, you can use apps that simulate conversations or adjust the speed of speech to match your own level. Some apps even allow you to create your own English world, combining videos, podcasts, and reading material into one seamless, immersive experience. Leveraging these tools makes your echo chamber more effective and tailored to your needs. If you are working towards an advanced level of fluency, check the link in the description for this video for the B2C Nation. This is an online community that I've created to help intermediate learners get to an advanced level of fluency. You might be wondering, why does this method work? It's all about how our brains are wired for language acquisition. Humans are incredibly good at picking up languages through immersion. Babies learn by hearing and seeing language in context, not by memorizing grammar tables. The same principle applies to adult learners. When you expose yourself to English in meaningful, engaging contexts, your brain starts to absorb vocabulary, sentence structures, and pronunciation naturally. Context matters more than rote memorization. Hearing phrases used repeatedly in different situations allows your brain to internalize meaning and usage patterns. Over time, you start using these words and structures automatically, without conscious effort. Repetition is another critical factor. But unlike textbook repetition, which can feel tedious, repetition in an echo chamber is organic. Listening to a story, a conversation, or a podcast multiple times helps reinforce comprehension, pronunciation, and grammar naturally. You don't have to force it. If the content is interesting and authentic, your brain will happily repeat it, and the learning sticks. Many learners worry about listening fatigue, thinking that too much exposure will overwhelm them. But research shows that when content is engaging, listening fatigue is a myth. The key is choosing material that captures your attention and sparks curiosity. Let's bring this idea to life with some real-world examples. Take Sarah, a busy professional who felt stuck at the B2 level. She didn't have time for long study sessions, so she started integrating English into her daily routine. She listened to English podcasts during her commute, followed cooking tutorials on YouTube, and read short stories before bed. Within 6 months, she noticed her speaking had become smoother, her comprehension faster, and her confidence soared. Then there's Ahmed, a stay-at-home parent who used audiobooks and children's shows to surround himself with English while caring for his kids. Gradually, he began understanding idiomatic expressions and using them correctly without ever studying grammar explicitly. These stories show that the echo chamber approach works for all kinds of learners, regardless of schedule or background. Common hurdles do appear, of course. Some learners worry that they won't understand enough at first. Others feel frustrated when progress seems slow. These challenges are normal, but the echo chamber approach provides solutions. Start with content that matches your level. This is really important. Choose something slightly challenging, but still understandable. Embrace the fact that comprehension will improve gradually, and mistakes are a part of learning. Over time, your fluency and confidence build naturally, and what once seemed impossible becomes effortless. So, how can you start building your own echo chamber today? First, curate content that excites you. Pick podcasts, videos, audiobooks, and other resources that match your interests and challenge your comprehension just enough. Second, integrate English into your daily life. Even 10 minutes of listening or reading in English counts, especially if it becomes part of your routine. Third, leverage technology. Use AI tools, apps, or platforms that allow you to customize your exposure. Practice listening and speaking and track your progress. Fourth, be patient and consistent. Fluency doesn't happen overnight, but with daily exposure and practice, your brain will begin absorbing English effortlessly. Here are some recommended resources to get you started. Podcasts like The English We Speak or Luke's English Podcast provide authentic, everyday language. Audiobooks are perfect for listening while commuting or doing chores. Try starting with short stories or novels aimed at your level. We have a series going on right now called Learning English Through Stories. That's a great place to start. YouTube channels featuring casual conversations, storytelling, or interviews give you exposure to natural rhythm, pronunciation, and slang. Apps like language immersion platforms or AI conversation tools can simulate interactive environments, helping you practice speaking and listening on your own schedule. The possibilities are endless, and the key is to pick what feels fun and sustainable. Finally, I want to encourage you to take action today. Building an echo chamber doesn't require perfection or long hours. It just requires consistency, curiosity, and engagement. Start small. Make English a part of your everyday life and watch your fluency grow without the stress of traditional studying. And here's the best part. This isn't just about learning English. It's about creating an environment that supports your growth, confidence, and communication skills in a way that feels natural and enjoyable. I'd love for you to share your journey. Start building your echo chamber. Experiment with different content and notice how your comprehension and confidence improve. When you feel ready, share your experience with us in the comments or in our community. Your story could inspire someone else to break free from the textbook trap and embrace a more immersive, effective way of learning English. Remember, advanced fluency isn't about memorizing rules. It's about living the language, surrounding yourself with it, and letting your brain absorb it naturally. That's the power of the echo chamber. And it's available to everyone who's willing to take this first step. So start today. Pick one podcast, one video, or one audiobook and immerse yourself. Listen actively, repeat naturally, and integrate English into your daily life. Trust the process, enjoy the journey, and know that every small exposure counts. Over time, you'll notice that speaking fluently no longer feels like a challenge. It becomes a habit, a part of who you are, and an enjoyable part of your life. This is how advanced fluency is achieved, without endless grammar drills or frustrating study sessions. You don't just learn English, you live it. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. And remember, building your English echo chamber is not just a method, it's a lifestyle. Surround yourself with English, engage with it daily, and watch your confidence, fluency, and enjoyment grow. I can't wait to hear about your journey, so share your experiences, your favorite resources, and your progress with us. Together, we can create a community of learners who break free from the textbook trap and achieve true fluency. Until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, and keep growing. Your echo chamber awaits.